friends, and welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. Today I am participating in the Hello Summer Challenge. I'll let you know more about that in a few minutes, but first of all, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Brenda, and if you're returning, oh, you know I love you. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use this decal that I created with my Cricut. I am going to use this pizza pan from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Ink and Snow White. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Malachite, and then the apple barrel in the color Parakeet. I'm also going to use my DIY paint in the color Carnival Red. And I'm going to start off by sanding this pizza pan so that the paint adheres a little bit better. So I sand around the front, the edges, the inside of that rim, and the back. I wiped it all off after that, and then I painted the front and the back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. Once it was all dry, I took the Malachite here, and I'm just painting around the rim. Once I have the rim all done, I took my Parakeet and I'm just kind of going around making brush lines, and then I decided I didn't like the one that was going, or how it went over onto the white. So I just took that Parakeet and I just painted all the way around, just like you see me doing right there. And then after that, I took my white and a small paintbrush, and I'm just making squiggly lines in between the light and the dark green colors there. Then I took the back of a paintbrush and I'm just making little dots inside the middle of the green. Then I took another small paintbrush and I'm just edging out with my red paint here. I went across the middle of my pizza pan, and then I am just going all the way around the edge of the bottom part of that pizza pan, so it's like a half of that pan. Then I took a bigger brush and I painted the whole bottom half with that Carnival DIY paint. After it was all dry, which I love the way it dries because it's got a real, it's hard to see here, but it's got a real pinkish tone to it. But I took some white here and I decided to just kind of go around the bottom part there, show some white. Then I took a small paintbrush with my ink chalk paint and I am just making some seeds. Now I realized after I did it that that was way too many seeds, because when I put my decal on it, it was going to be hard to read it. So I did paint over a lot of those seeds with my Carnival Red by DIY, and I don't know if it just wasn't completely dry or what happened, but my letters were not wanting to stick. So I played with it. I finally got it on there, barely, and then I got the rest of my decals on, and you see how I was pulling it up. So after I have all of my decals on here, I do go over front and back with my Mod Podge, but before I do that, I took this white pen and I just made little lines, white lines on the seeds to give it some dimension. But I'm taking my Mod Podge and I went over the front and the back of this pizza pan, mainly because it's metal, but also because I wanted to go over the summer words to help it stay secure. Then I took 2 strips of buffalo check ribbon and then 2 strips of this watermelon ribbon. The watermelon ribbon came from Hobby Lobby, and I just glued the ends together. I didn't measure. I don't know what the sizes were. And then I am just going to scrunch them together and put them all together in kind of an X formation, just like you see me doing right there. And then after I had them all done, I took some twine here and I'm just wrapping it around and tying it tight. And then I took some more of the ribbon and I folded it in half, and then I'm scrunching that middle part. And then I'm just going to add that as the legs, and I just tie it with the rest of that twine there, just like you see me doing. Then after that, I decided, oh, I'm going to make some holes for a hanger. So I'm just using my crocodile, and I made a couple holes and ran a hanger through it. Then I took a zip tie and I ran it through one of the holes there, and then I'm just attaching my bow to that pizza pan with that zip tie. And then after I have that done, I'm going to dovetail the ends of my tails, and then I just put a little dab of hot glue and glued those tails in place so that it didn't cover the welcome word. And I love how this came out. You'll have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Okay, so today is the Hello Summer Challenge. It is hosted by Tammy with the Rested Willow and Ellie from DIY from House to Home. This quarter's guest host is Charlene with Crafty Art Shack. Make sure you check out their channels as well as the playlist. I'll have links to all of them in my description box below. Here's DIY number 2. So for this one, I'm going to use these tower tumble blocks. I got these from Five Below. They're bigger than the regular tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. My Carnival Red by DIY Paint, and then again my Apple Barrel Parakeet, and then my Waverly Malachite paints. And then I'm going to use some of these little wood stems from Dollar Tree. So I started off by taking 3 of these blocks and I'm going to glue them together, and I made 8 strips of 3. After I had those all glued together, I then glued 8 strips of 2, just like you see me doing right there. Then I took 4 of those 2 strips of 2, and I'm going to use my wood glue and my hot glue, and I'm going to start adhering them on top of each other, just like you see. So I'm going to have 4 of them glued together using my wood glue and my hot glue. And then once I have those done, I will do the same thing with the rest of the strips of 2. And this is taking a little while. After that, that's where I had 2 of those strips. I'm going to use my wood glue and hot glue those 2 strips together. So there's 8 on each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 8 on each. So there's actually 16 altogether. And then I did the same thing with the strips of 3 here. I'm going to glue 4 of them on top of each other, just like I did with the strips of 2. And then after that, I'm going to take both strips and hot glue them, or not just hot glue, wood and hot glue them together. Then I just took some single ones and took 4 of them and glued them. I used wood glue and hot glue on top of each other. So I had 2 strips of those, and then I'm going to glue those 2 together. Woo! Okay, after that was all done, I took my Malachite and I'm painting the top and the bottom and one side of all of those blocks, and then I painted a little bit on each side of them as well. Once they were all dry, I took my Parakeet and I'm adding that to the sides as well, just like you see me doing right here. There was a lot of painting in these DIYs, you guys, I have to tell you. And then I took some white and I added that as well. And then I thought, you know what, I want to add a little bit of pink. So I grabbed my Apple Barrel pink blush. But before I did that, I took some more of that pink Parakeet and I added a little bit of that with that white too, just trying to blend it all in a little bit. Here's where I took that pink blush by Apple Barrel and I'm just adding that. And then I added some red, kind of blended it in as it was still wet. And then after that, I just went all the way around and painted it with that red. And then I did add a little bit of the pink inside of that red as well. And I did that on all 3 of those. Then I took my paint markers here. I decided to use those instead to make the seeds. And then after that, I took some of these stems and I'm just going to hot glue them on the top. I took some green raffia. I think I got this at Dollar Tree a while ago. And then I'm going to hot glue them. I just tied a knot in the middle of the pieces that I had, hot glued it, and then just kind of cut them down. And that's all there was for these. I think they are so cute. You will have to let me know what you think about these in the comment box below. And I actually saw these on Pinterest used with 2x4s, or 4x4s, sorry, but I thought it'd be fun to make them out of the tumbling tower blocks. Okay, I want to give a shout out to all my subscribers and thank you guys. I just think you guys are wonderful. You mean the world to me. And if you're new here and like today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go. And then make sure you guys give me that thumbs up, comment, and watch those ads. That really helps my channel grow. And if you would like to follow me on social media, you can find the links to my accounts as well as my affiliate accounts in the description box below as well. Okay, here's DIY and number 3. So for this DIY, you guys, I made another decal with my Cricut. I'm going to use this sign that I got from a Dollar Tree. I'm just going to spiff it up a little bit. I'm also going to use the same paints. I'm going to use my Malachite by Waverly, my Parakeet by Apple Barrel, and then the Carnival Red by DIY. And then I'm going to also use that sign from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start off by removing the hanger from that sign, and then I removed the twine that was holding all this in place. Then after that, I'm going to leave the watermelons like they were because I was like, I'm tired of painting watermelons. So instead, I'm going to take the sign here. I'm going to cut off. There was a little part of that sign that drooped down, so I just cut that off. And then I'm just going to tear off all the paper, and then once I got all that top paper off, I'm just going to spritz it down with water and then scrape it off with a paint scraper. Now the longer you let it soak, the easier it is. I didn't wait, I just started scraping, so it does look like it took a little effort, which it did, but like I said, if you let it soak for a little while, it will come off a lot easier. I was just being impatient and wanted to get this done. So after that, I took my tape here and I'm marking off the top and the bottom. I'm measuring it, making sure it's even, and then I'm going to paint it. Now here's a fun fact about me. Hopefully you guys will still like me after I tell you this fun fact, but I actually do not like watermelons. When I was a kid, I loved watermelon, but as I became an adult, I just don't like the smell or the taste of it. But I do love the look of watermelon DIYs. Last year, I was watching people creating DIYs with watermelon themed, and I just thought it was so pretty and I loved it. So I decided I was going to do it this year. Even though I don't like the taste of them, I still think they're cute and I'm going to do the DIYs. So as you see, I painted the middle with the red, and then I just did the dark green on the ends and the light green in between the red and the dark green, and then I'm adding my decal here, and it did pull up some of my paint, so I did go and do some touch up. Then I took this braided jute cord that I get from Amazon. It is in my Amazon store if you're interested in buying it. And I'm just going to hot glue this all the way around my sign. You guys know me. I think it gives it a finished look when you do that. So after that, I am going to use some wood glue and hot glue on the top part of the side of this long picture from Dollar Tree. And then I'm just going to add my little sign here. After that, I am going to do the same thing with the watermelon. I'm just going to use some wood glue and hot glue, and I'm just going to adhere them to the bottom part of my sign. And then after that, I took some of this red gingham ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to put some over the edge or the end of each or both sides of this sign. And I'm just using hot glue for that. And then again, I felt like it needed just a little bit something more. So I took, oh my goodness, I'm getting ahead of myself a lot. I made some regular shoestring bows with that ribbon, and then I hot glued them there at the top. I made 2. Then I took this twine because I just felt like it needed something a little bit more on that ribbon. And I'm just going around the ends of the boards with that twine, just right over that ribbon. And then I'm just going to use some of that same twine to make a hanger. I tied knots on the end and then hot glue them in the back. And that's all there was for this. Really easy. I love how this came out. I think it is really cute. You have to let me know what you think about that as well. And please still like me, even if I don't like watermelons. Okay, so it is a time for a celebration of your recreations. And we have this beautiful wood round that Martha created. It is so pretty, Martha. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And then we have busy little Kathy. She made this adorable bee, and then these adorable little signs. I just love them all. They look lovely. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing those with me. And if you have a creation or recreation that you would like me to showcase for you, you can send pictures to me to that email address that's listed there, or to Facebook or Instagram, and I would be more than happy to showcase them here for you. And that's Facebook Messenger, by the way. Okay, so here's DIY number 4. Oh, you guys, this one I almost didn't show you, but I thought you could at least get some inspiration. So I'm going to take one of those napkins. I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White, because they only had the Snow White. They didn't have white. And then some more decals I created with my Cricut, and then this 12-inch sign, wood sign from Dollar Tree. So I am going to remove the hanger, and I'm going to paint the front and the back of that sign with my Snow White by Waverly. After it was all dry, I covered the front with my Mod Podge, and then once I had it all covered, I set it aside and let it dry. And it really only takes like 20 minutes maybe to dry. But in the meantime, I cut my napkin in half, just like you see me doing here. And then once I have this cut in half, I'm going to take the backing off, but be really careful. These Dollar Tree napkins are very flimsy, and mine ripped a little bit when I was taking that off. So I'm just using my parchment paper here in my heat press. This really does, I love using this because it eliminates wrinkles, but I had an air bubble there. So I went over it with my heat press again, and it went away. And then I went over the napkin with my Mod Podge so that we're protecting that napkin, and then I let that dry. Once it was done drying, it did have a little bit of wrinkling from the Mod Podge, so I just went over it again with my heat press and my parchment paper, and it took care of it. Then I'm just going to use my sander, my finger sander there, to remove all the excess on the ends. Okay, so I don't know if I put the napkin on crooked or if they really cut those holes crooked, but this is really crooked and it drives me nuts. But my decal, like I said, it might be my decal, but it wasn't right in the middle. It was to the left a little, or the right. And so as I'm adding this, I'm like, this is just not looking like I was picturing it. And so I thought, well, at least you guys can get the inspiration and an idea of what to do. So I took some green and red beads that I have. The green ones came from Amazon. The red ones came from Walmart at Christmas time. After Christmas time, I bought some of their garlands. Their beaded garlands are great to buy at Christmas time because it is a really good deal for how much you get. And I just used those for my hanger. And then I took some of this watermelon ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I got it. It's in the spring section, and I got it for when it was 40% off. I made a bow doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up, tying jute twine around it, and then dovetailing the ends. And then I was like, oh, I didn't know where to put my bow. So I decided to put it there, and then I'm going to glue the legs so that it doesn't cover the watermelon word as much. And that's all there was for this one. I don't know if they made the hole for the hanger too low, but I did use spackling to kind of cover it up and made a new hole. Or if it was just everything was crooked. So but there it is. You'll have to let me know what you think about this. It's a super easy project. If any of you guys have those watermelon napkins, it's a great little project to make. So here is your final reveal. Make sure you guys check out Ellie and Tammy's and Charlene's channels, as well as the playlist. And I will be back again on Monday with another video. But first, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you go. It costs you nothing and it means the world to me. And then make sure you guys give me that thumbs up and comment. I truly appreciate it. And with all that being said, you guys have a blessed weekend, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.